The untouchable, like I said, the untouchable True School Sports Empire has been sponsored to you and brought to you in part by
Kool-Aid with no motherfucking sugar.
Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing. We are live once more here on True School Sports, and I promise this time, I can guarantee this time, this is not going to be a 12-hour live. This is not going to be a 5-hour live. This isn't going to be no 10-hour live. This is going to be 45 minutes to an hour max, and because I got somewhere to go, and I can't be lounging around just talking boxing, even though I like doing that and I enjoy it a lot. So before we get into the video, what I want to speak about, I want to encourage everybody to smash that like button. Make sure you smash that like button, drop a comment down below. Let me know what city, what state, what continent you're watching from, and I'll be sure to shout you out later. Also, shout out to everybody that was here for the last live that I did. We were live for like 12 hours. So it was a new True School Sports record. If you participated, if you watched, if you liked, you were a part of history. So shout out to you for being part of that. But let's not waste too much time. Let's not waste too much breath. Let's get into what we all came here for, which is the title of the video. And the title of the video is simply that your boy, Fish Eyes, Frank Warren, he stated that he's willing to make Daniel Dubois versus Deontay Wilder by the end of 2020. This is a fight that, to me, just hearing the matchup is very interesting because you got Wilder obviously in a very interesting part of his career, and you have Dubois who hasn't quite stepped up to that level yet. So we're going to explore what Frank Warren said from all angles, and we'll definitely be having some good boxing talk today here on True School Sports. Now let's go to share screen because that's what we need to do. We need to share the screen. Hopefully my screen share works because the last live we had a minor issue. All right, so boom, we are on screen share. So here we are. Boom. All right, so we're on screen share, and this right here was the article that I saw. I mean, there's many articles and there's Instagram posts. There's many people talking about just this whole thing that Frank Warren said. But I got this from Seconds Out. So shout out to the fine folks, your main man Danny Flexen at Seconds Out for writing the article and for the great work they do there at Seconds Out. He's there you see it. Daniel Dubois ready for Wilder by the end of the year, says Frank Warren, May the 4th, 2020. All right. So there it says right there. Frank Warren feels that if Daniel Dubois can get past Joyce, he will then be ready for Deontay Wilder by the close of 2020. He said, I quote, "If Daniel comes to the fight with Joyce, then yes, by the end of the year, yes." Then went on by saying, I quote, "Tyson has shown how beatable Deontay Wilder is. Once the rematch is out the way, I have no problems matching Daniel with Deontay. Wilder is good, don't get me wrong, but my man will be miles better in time. Daniel is big and powerful, and everyone knows he can punch too, but he's a good boxer. I've said before that he has a Larry Holmes like jab, and he works the body as well as any heavyweight on earth. Daniel is the best heavyweight prospect on planet Earth, and he'll have far too much for Deontay Wilder. I truly believe that." So listen, big words, big talk being spoken by Fish Eyes, Frank Warren, about Daniel Dubois. Now listen, I like Daniel Dubois. I'm high on him. Not as high on him as I am like I got like Philip Hergovic. I like Hergovic more. I like Daniel Dubois. I like him so much more than Dubois that me and my dad had this. Me and my dad, the guy that you guys call Pops, we had this bet going on about who's going to win a world title first between Hergovic and Dubois. We bet $20 on it. So, I like Dubois. I think he's got a good future in boxing. But let's get to the matter at hand. Now, the matter at hand is simple. Okay, the matter at hand is simple. All right, Daniel Dubois, he still has to beat Joyce. Okay, he still has to beat Joyce. I mean, he's a fantastic fighter. This Daniel Dubois, fantastic punching power. He's devastating. He's got a good jab. 14 fights. He's been progressing pretty well. Last year, he had an interesting year to say the least. Daniel Dubois. Just looking at his 2019 Daniel Dubois. He had a 2019 where he fought a couple of names that the hardcores would know. He fought your Razvan Kajanus. He fought your Richard Lartes. You know, he fought Nathan Gorman, which was the biggest fight for him in that last year. Which it was a step up fight. It was a fight that he had to look good in to continue progressing his career. And to his credit, you know, with that being the only like true test of his career in terms of a step up fight, he passed a flying colors. If you thought the Razvan Kajanu fight was a step up fight for him, he passed that with flying colors. The Tom Little fight, he passed that with flying colors. You know, and then his last couple of fights, you know, Ebenezer Tatith and Kyle Taro Fujimoto, these have been extreme cherry picks. I mean, especially this one right here. This one right here, look, I know we give Deontay Wilder a lot of shit here on True School Sports, but this fight right here is as bad as anything on Deontay Wilder's resume, and I do not say that lightly. It's pretty. It was a pretty horrible cherry pick, Kyle Taro Fujimoto. So, you know, I was excited for the Joyce fight because I was getting kind of sick of his last couple of opponents. You know, he had to step up fight against Nathan Gorman. You know, he was 2 fights removed from the Kajanu fight. So I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna really put him in a big time fight, but no, they put him in two 2-0 fights, especially this fight right here. This fight right here was billed the fight before Christmas, and it was a showcase fight for Dan Dubois. Looked good, and it was one of those fights that if you follow the buildup, if you did any research on Kyle Taro Fujimoto in his career, you know that with Fujimoto, it was going to end in only one way, and that was a highlight reel knockout for Dan Dubois. So he's still got to beat Joe Joyce, and that's not necessarily a given. Now, a lot of people have written off Joe Joyce. People are saying he's trash because he's slow, but the reality is this, okay? Let's just put his speed or lack thereof. Let's put it to rest. Let's put it to rest here for a second, and let's just look at who Joe Joyce is as a fighter, okay? When we talk about Joe Joyce, we're talking about a guy who is an Olympic silver medalist, okay? Olympic silver medalist. So if at worst, when it comes to this boxing thing, we know Joe Joyce has a solid foundation because that's what a good amateur background and that's what winning Olympic gold medal gives you. It gives you a good foundation to build on when you go to the pros. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to be a good pro, but it gives you that foundation. Okay, Joe Joyce is an Olympic silver medalist. He's 6'6". Okay, this is the people forget. I think because he's so damn slow, people forget how big this man is. He's pushing 6'6". He is what his name insinuates it is. He is built like a juggernaut. Okay, he's 10-0, 9 KOs. If we look at thus far in his career, what has he done? Who has he fought? I mean, he's fought Lenroy Thomas. He's fought Stabern. He's fought Brian Jennings. I mean, I'll tell you this. This fight right here, this is a good win for him right here. Because Brian Jennings was hitting him with some good shots, and Brian Jennings was very game on the night. And Joe Joyce showed that he had durability. He showed that he had the ability to handle a tough fight. So I don't think the Joe Joyce fight is a gimme. And he's, you know, if they go that route and if they still make this fight straight away after the virus is over and boxing begins, this isn't a gimme for Daniel Dubois because he hasn't really been hurt. He hasn't really been touched by anybody with significant punching power in the heavyweight division. And Joe Joyce, you know, how good is his punching power? I mean, let's see. He stopped Ustinov. He stopped the corpse of Stabern. He stopped Joe Hank. He stopped everybody on his resume apart from Brian Jennings. And Brian Jennings, I would say, is definitely the best fighter he's ever fought. And Brian Jennings is probably the only guy that you could say is a top, 25, 30 caliber heavyweight. So I would actually call into question the level of his punching power. I'm not convinced that Joe Joyce has top level elite punching power, but I think he has respectable punching power. I think he has the kind of punching power that can put Dan Dubois in an uncomfortable position. So we're going to find out a lot about Dan Dubois when and if this fight happens, because Joe Joyce is not anything to just scoff and look at. I can make the argument. The argument could be made, and I'm sorry to all the Wilder fans out there, but the argument could be made that Joe Joyce's resume in 9 fights is as good as Deontay Wilder's resume before the Fury fight. Because, I mean, we know Luis Ortiz is better than Brian Jennings because he beat him soundly. But, I mean, how much better is he really than Brian Jennings? He's better than him. He's top 10 caliber. But once you get past Ortiz, I mean, Brian Jennings is better than everyone Wilder's fought. So, that's an argument that could be made for Joe Joyce. But getting back to Dubois, he needs to win this fight, and he needs to win it impressively to kind of show the boxing world that he's not a hype job, that he's going to be something to deal with in the years to come and the months to come. And he has to show that he's not just going to be a flash in the pan or a hype job, but that he is everything Frank Warren says he is. That he is the mother loving truth and nothing but the truth. Okay. Now there's a lot of layers to this whole. If this is even true, there's a lot of layers to this. Okay. First of all, let's go over here for a second. All right. Not to get political here. I'm not gonna get into politics, but this is for the sake of this video. Recently, Donald Trump, he suspended travel from Europe to the U.S. So even if Dubois winds up folding up Wilder like a blue steel chair, he's still gonna have to. Hold on. One second, guys. Yeah, what I was saying is he's still gonna have to fight Dubois have to fight Joyce in the UK, and because of the travel ban, he can't come to the US. Wilder's in the US, so even if he folds up Joyce, we don't know when the ban will be lifted. We don't know when the world will turn back to somewhat normality. We don't know if it'll ever go back to normality. Maybe there's going to be a new normal, we just don't know yet. There's a lot of certainties and gray areas and question marks to fill in. But my thing is, as much as I like to see Dubois versus Wilder, I can't foresee it happening anytime with this year with the whole travel ban, because the whole virus, there's just too much to risk for these countries and lives being lost. I have my opinions on it, but there's no denying the impact that this virus has had on the world, in terms of the deaths, in terms of people's mental states and mental health. So, hopefully things can get back to normality soon. But first of all, even if the ban was lifted, I wouldn't expect boxing to just come out the box giving us all the fights we want, because there's just a lot of layers to what's going on with the travel, with the I call it isolation, but they say social distancing. So it's not going to happen in 2020. I don't think so. At least I don't think so. So I think Frank Warren, in my honest opinion, is flapping his gums. But this is something to talk about. It's a new topic, so I figure why not talk about it. And then the other layer to this is the fact that you have Wilder Fury 3. You have the fact that Wilder Fury 3 is still going to be talked about. It's going to take priority over everything. Deontay Wilder is in fact contractually obligated to a rematch with Tyson Fury. He exercised it before all the coronavirus madness happened. So you're going to be led to believe that that's going to take priority. And the only way that this fight doesn't happen next is if he gets some sort of step aside money, and maybe Fury goes and fights Joshua, and then that opens the door for Warren to make the fight happen with Dubois, or just something happens to where that fight can't happen. Now, like I said earlier, and like I just said like 2 minutes ago, there is a travel ban from the U.S. to Europe and from Europe to the U.S. So it's going to be hard to make those fights happen in the near future anyway, until the bans get lifted. But Frank Warren came out just recently, April 28, 2020, boxing scene. He said, who knows if Fury Wilder 3 will even happen this year? Who knows if the damn thing will even happen this year? So he don't even know if this is going to happen this year. So, you got him on this end. Look, and these are the games that promoters play sometimes. So I'm just showing you, look, May 4th, he's saying Dubois is ready for Wilder by the end of the year. April 28th, he's saying he doesn't know if Fury Wilder is going to happen this year. So, you see the Jekyll and Hyde personality of these promoters, of guys like Frank Warren. But who knows? Maybe he's saying this because he knows that this won't happen. Maybe he's privy to some information we don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm not in the negotiations. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with Frank Warren and Hearn and Joshua. So maybe he went from this to this because he knows that Fury, Wilder, Joshua might not happen. I don't know. I really don't know. But let's get into what he said. Let's get into what he said in regards to Fury versus Wilder 3 happening or not happening. So we have a clear picture on this whole Dubois situation that he's now kind of spoken into existence. All right. Here's what he said verbatim, saying, I quote, "To be quite honest, at the moment, it's all moot at the moment. Who knows when we're going to get that on, even this year, because it's all about what goes on in Vegas. The fight is going to take place in the United States, and obviously it seems Vegas to be the most appropriate place. And at the moment, boxing's banned there. And who knows when that ban is going to be lifted. And it's certainly not a fight that can go on behind closed doors." You see what I'm saying? Because that's a big pay-per-view fight. That's a big moneymaker. That's a Vegas fight. That's big boxing. Wilder Dubois is you know, it's two big names amongst the hardcore boxing fans, but you know, as far as the general public, that's not a fight that's gonna move the needle outside of the UK. So I think that's a fight they actually could put on behind closed doors in the studio, and maybe that could be Wilder's first fight back. Maybe that could be Dubois' first fight back, because there are going to be some time slots and some available shows where you see promoters put on fights behind closed doors with no crowd, with no sort of, you know, mass gathering. And that's a fight that I think they could explore. You know, that's a fight that I think they could explore, Wilder Dubois, because Wilder on his own in America is not a draw. That has been proven. We've proven that here on True School Sports, and we talked about it at length. That's been proven. He can't draw by himself in America. He needs a good dance partner. And Dubois, I mean, in the UK, I would assume he can pull in some decent crowds, but is he really like a big time box office draw in the UK? Yeah, I'm not so sure. But I think if you were to put the two together, if you take the increased profile and visibility of Wilder coming out the two Fury fights and all the hype that's surrounding Dubois, and you put them together, you could have a good heavyweight fight behind closed doors in the UK. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure with the whole travel ban, but it's definitely a possibility worth being explored. But it's your boy BT. We're live here on True School Sports. It is 6:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from sunny South Florida, Miami to be exact. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, super chat, do all that good stuff. And I'm going to get your comments here in a second. So if you guys are commenting and I haven't got to it yet, I will get to it as soon as I get my stuff off. Let me see. What else do we have here? What else do we have here? Oh, yeah. I wanted to get to this. I wanted to get to this, okay? Now, let's be real for a second here about Daniel Dubois versus Wilder, all right? This is the reality of the matter, all right? Now, I'll get off screen share for it. I'll leave it on screen share. This is the reality of the matter, all right? Daniel Dubois, if and when they step in the ring, if this man said hide your porn tabs. Anyway, what I was saying is Daniel Dubois, if and when they step in the ring, there's no question that he's going to be the hardest puncher Deontay Wilder's ever fought. When we speak about Daniel Dubois, his punching power hasn't been tested at that top level yet, but let's use the Wilder fan logic here for a second, because the Wilder fans love to use this logic when they used to argue about how he's this great fighter. And when I say that, I mean the Wilder fanboys, the Wilderettes, the LDBC. When they used to argue about Wilder being the great fighter, they used to always say, well, do you know how hard it is to knock out 40 grown men? It's really hard. So let's apply that logic to Daniel Dubois for a second. He's fought 14 grown men in the professional ranks of boxing. Some of them are renowned, some of them not so renowned. But, you know, some of those guys include the likes of Tom Little, Raz Vankajanu, Nathan Gorman, you know, Dorian Darts, the guy that was part of the whole Dave Allen match fixing scandal. Okay. He's knocked out 13 of the 14 bodies they put in front of him. Now, the only guy he didn't stop was Kevin Johnson, a guy that's very hard to stop. You know, that's not the easiest thing in the world to stop Kevin Johnson. It's very difficult to stop Kevin Johnson. And if you can stop Kevin Johnson, then you are truly something special. And I believe Anthony Joshua stopped Kevin Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. So, Daniel Dubois, we've seen his knock. We've seen how he puts his punch together. We've seen how he puts his jab together, how he sets with the right hand. We've seen the Kayotaro Fujimura knockout, which is damn devastating. You know, the guy knows how to place his shots, and he's getting better. He's maturing on a fight-by-fight, round-by-round basis. You know, he's got Frank Bruno working with him and teaching him some of the old school tricks of the trade. So I think he's definitely one to watch. Daniel Dubois. He's going to be a champion. I can't see how he doesn't become heavyweight champion unless he's really a fraud. I mean, I think he'll be a heavyweight champion at some point in his career. You know, I see too much talent, too much upside, too much going well for this guy to not be a heavyweight champion. And you know, when we talk about Wilder, when we talk about Deontay Wilder, right? Let's go to Wilder for a second. When we talk about this man right here, Deontay Wilder, you know, he's a personal favorite on here on True School Sports. When we talk about Deontay Wilder, we're talking about a guy who he's 43 fights into his career. He's 34 years old. The irony is this: him and Joe Joyce. Look, Wilder's 34 years old. Okay, Joe Joyce is also 34 years old. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, and I don't say this to down Wilder. I'm just being honest. You know, if we look at the early stages of Wilder's career and we look at the early stages of Joe Joyce's career, it's clear to see that Joe Joyce has had much more higher quality in-ring experience. You know, he's fought your Brian Jennings, he's fought your Alexander Usmanov, he's fought guys like that. So, you know, I don't know, man. I think. And you know, God forgive me if the Wilder has attacked me, but Joe Joyce might even be a tougher fight for Dan Dubois than Deontay Wilder, because let's just be real. We know boxing is a psychological sport. We know that a fighter's mental psyche means everything when going into that ring. And I think it's pretty fair to question, you know, just where exactly the mental psyche is of Mr. Deontay LaShawn Wilder. We don't know what the mental psyche of Deontay LaShawn Wilder is at the moment. All we can go off of is Yahoo Sports quotes and articles where he's been quoted. You know, all we can go off of is that one video where he was like, "My bomb squad nation." You know, that's all we can go off right now. We can't go off much more than that right now with Deontay Wilder. And based on what we've seen, based on what we've heard, based on all the information we can gather that's present to us, it is fair to say that Deontay Wilder is not exactly walking around and oozing with the same confidence and bravado that he was before he got folded up by Tyson Fury in the rematch. And because of that, it's fair to say and make the assertion and make the assumption that Fury has taken his soul. He's taken a part of Wilder that isn't there anymore. And because it isn't there anymore, I think it makes him a more vulnerable fighter. It's a much more vulnerable fighter. It's not going to take as much to beat Wilder now as it did when Fury fought on the rematch. And because of these things, I think it makes Dubois, you know, if he does fight him, his job a lot more easier. And if you want to get into the styles, if you want to get into the technical aspects of boxing, I mean, when we talk about Daniel Dubois, I think I know and I've seen, and I'm very sure from what I've seen on tape and in fights that he has a better jab than Deontay Wilder. His jab, he throws his jab with neither intentions. He throws his jab with much more of a purpose and conviction behind it. And because of that, he's able to close range. He's able to cut the distance and close the gap. And it sets up his right hand, you know. And is his right hand as good as Wilder's? I don't know. I don't think it is, because I think Deontay Wilder's right hand is probably the only thing you can say he does have at an A level. Deontay Wilder's right hand is the only thing he throws at an A class or at an A level, level in boxing. You know, his right hand is the only thing elite about him. His right hand, listen, if you wanted to be real about Wilder, the only thing keeping him from working at IHOP is that damn right hand. His right hand has taken him really far in boxing, so I'm not gonna take that from him. So I don't think his right hand is better than Wilder's, but I think it could be more effective in a fight against Wilder, because I think his jab will reign supreme over Wilder's, which will thus in turn set up the right hand. You see what I'm saying? And then that puts Wilder in a vulnerable position. That puts him on the back foot. And we've seen already he can't fight off the back foot. He's got no know-how or intelligence of fighting off the back foot. He didn't have it in the Olympics when he was an amateur. He didn't have it when he fought Evgeny Romanov, and Romanov put him on his ass back in, when he was an amateur. And he didn't have it on February 22nd, 2020 when he fought Tyson Fury at the MGM Grand. So this is reality. And I don't think Frank Warren is crazy. I don't think Fisheye is crazy for what he's saying right here. You know, that Daniel Dubois will be ready for Deontay Wilder if he could beat Joe Joyce. Because listen, the reality is this: Joe Joyce is 30. Joe Joyce the big juggernaut, big juggernaut. Our main man, Joyce, he's pushing 34 years old. I would say he's probably he's definitely a fresher 34 years old because he hasn't taken as much punishment in the ring as Wilder. He's gotten better ring experience than Wilder at the earlier stage of his career than Wilder did. You know, you would be led to believe that Joyce's mental state going into a Dubois fight, you know, he's not going to go in with the same type of vulnerabilities Wilder has because he's not coming off of any losses. He's not coming off of any controversial fights where, you know, you got to get decision. He's not coming off of anything like that. He's an undefeated fighter, undefeated 6'6", silver medalist, you know, hungry fighter with a point to prove because people are writing him off and saying he's slow. They're saying, you know, he's a bum and he's not going to be anything. So you be led to believe that he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. You see what I'm saying? And I just think a fighter like that for a guy like Daniel Dubois is actually more dangerous than a Deontay Wilder. Wilder, yes, he's more accomplished. Yes, he was WBC heavyweight champion. Yes, he made 10 title defenses. Yes, he's got an amazing right hand when it lands. But he's a more vulnerable fighter. His mental state is not in a great place. Joyce's mental state is that of a guy who isn't going into the ring hoping to win, hoping to land the right hand. But I believe that he believes he could actually beat Daniel Dubois. And that's the most important thing is does the fighter have the conviction? Does he have the conviction? Does he have the belief in his heart of hearts, in the depths of his heart and at the core of his balls? Does he believe that he can really beat the man across that ring, no matter how big and bad the media says he is or the fans say he is? You know, I don't think Wilder has that. I think he might have had it. He had it in the first Fury fight. He had it before he got knocked upside his head in the rematch. But he's not going to have it when they fight a third time, and he won't have it for the rest of his career because he doesn't have the skills. He doesn't have the skill set that's going to give him the confidence to fight a different kind of fight, to make the adjustments. And he doesn't seem to have the self-awareness to make the changes in his camp and in his career that will put him in a position to tweak some things and win. So I just think Joyce is a much more dangerous fighter than Dubois. To be honest with you, that doesn't mean I think he's a better fighter than Deontay Wilder. It doesn't mean that I think he would beat Deontay Wilder if they fought. But I do think that he's a more dangerous fighter than Daniel Dubois at this stage of his career and just where Wilder's at. So that's just what it is. Those are my overall thoughts on this whole thing from Frank Warren and him saying that Daniel Dubois could be ready to fight Deontay Wilder by the end of this year. I'll be honest. I'll keep it a buck with you guys. I'll keep it a buck. If they fight, like if they were to fight at the end of this year, let's just say hypothetically speaking, I'm gonna get off screen share. Let's just say hypothetically speaking, right? My bad. What I was saying is, let's just say we get what we want as boxing fans. We get Dubois versus Wilder in a new and interesting matchup behind closed doors. It's one of the first big heavyweight fights post coronavirus. I sincerely believe Daniel Dubois is folding his ass up in 5 rounds or less. I'm be honest with you, because if he's coming off a win against Joyce, then that means he's gotten more ring experience against a quality, durable 6'6" heavyweight. Okay, that makes him more confident. That makes him more experienced. That makes him more seasoned. That makes him more dangerous. And then Wilder would be coming off the Fury loss. You know, he would have, you know, his mental state not in the best place. He wouldn't have had much time to prepare and make the necessary tweaks he needs to make to become a more dangerous fighter. And I think it's all wrong for him. I actually think Daniel Dubois would beat him up worse than Tyson Fury because Daniel Dubois is punching. He's got more thump in both hands than Tyson Fury. Straight up. He might not be as good as Tyson Fury or as skilled as Tyson Fury, but he's younger than Tyson Fury. He's fresher than Tyson Fury. And he punches a lot harder than Tyson Fury. Let's not make any mistakes about that. So I'm saying that he's stopping Deontay Wilder in 5 rounds or less, because Wilder has already shown that you know, like any fighter in boxing history, you know, fatigue, resistance, you know, the right place shots can make a coward out of any man, and it did when he fought Fury. So why should I believe that it would be any different if he fights Daniel Dubois? Why should I believe any different? I don't. And there's no way, there's no two ways about it. So that's what it is. We're 33 minutes here on True School Sports. It's your boy BT. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Make sure y'all definitely, by any and all means, smash that like button. And let's get us some comments because we got quite a lot of them to get to. All right, because I want to make sure I acknowledge everybody here. We've been live for 30 minutes. This isn't going to be a long live. So if you're expecting a 5-hour live, this is not the day for that. I got other things I gotta take care of. But let's get some comments. We got 1SOLOJC. He says, let's see what he says. Let's see what our man here is saying. He's saying he says Dubois will sleep Wilder right now. Dubois will be champion within the next couple of years. I could definitely see that. You know, I think it's gonna be 5 rounds or less if they fight. Bashment Boxing. Shout out to Bashment Boxing. That's a pretty cool picture right there. What is that? It looks like it's a Tyson Fury lumping up Wilder in a cartoon form. I like that. That looks dope. It says if Deontay Wilder is mentally broken, he's delusional. So Frank Warren might be right. You know what? Fish eyes might be right. So I'm not discrediting the Hall of Fame promoter. Absolutely not. Let's see. They're trying to ruin Dubois. He needs to fight a few more hungry fighters as well as hungry journeymen in the top 20, close to the top 10, not top 8. And that's from Timothy Grant. You know, Timothy, I'm not gonna knock you for that statement because you know the reality is Daniel Dubois does need some more seasoning. He's still just 22 years old, and the best fighter he's fought thus far in his career has been Nathan Gorman. But like I said, man, I think boxing is about the styles. It's about the mental psyche of where fighters are at when they go into these fights. And I think if they were to fight next, like if they were to just fight next and Wilder Fury 3 didn't happen, I think it'd be the perfect time to fight Wilder for him to win and look good and just push his career forward. We got my main man out there in the UK. Big shout out to him. I got mad love and respect for him. I always see him in the comments. Toby Bartlett, he says, "What's up, BT in the chat? What's up, man? How you doing? How you living? Good to see you." Voss Kroner says, I think he could KO Wilder. I think it's gonna happen. I think it's inevitable they fight, to be honest. SSB28 says, "Yo, what's up? What's up, man?" He said, hide your porn tabs, BT. No, man, we're not doing that no more. We're not doing that no more. We're gonna retain our seed. Gotta retain. We got money to make, and things to do. Tony Bartlett says, if DDD loses, he's got time to come back and resurrect his career. If Slow Joyce loses, he's got a lot bigger challenge to get back to where he is. So in my opinion, there's more pressure on Joe Joyce. Yeah, there is more pressure on Joe Joyce because like I said, he's no spring chicken. He's the same age as Wilder, which is 34 years old. So definitely. We got Michael 3232. What's up, Michael 3232? You gotta get in the picture though, LeBron. I can't stand LeBron. Toby says Wilder can't draw pictures, let alone draw crowds. LMAO, yo, you speaking nothing but the facts. I've seen it with my own 4 eyes. I got 4 of them, so you're speaking nothing but facts. Would Wilder's handlers chance putting him in with this guy 4 or 5 fights with his power? Dubois? Oh, hell no. I have serious questions and reservations about whether or not they would do it right now. Because the reality is this, you know, just look at the way he was matched his whole career. Wilder didn't fight many punchers. He didn't fight a puncher in his career until he fought Dominic Brazil. Okay? He didn't fight no punchers. He made a career of fighting soft punching, you know, light punchers, which allowed him to fight with confidence and the freedom of knowing he's not going to get hurt. Because you know, Wilder's got a decent chin on him. We're not gonna discredit his chin. Like I'll give him credit where credit is due. Wilder isn't going to go down easily. You got to really flatten him to get him out of there. So there's no way in hell that if you get, let's just say, right, let's say Dubois proves that he's the truth. Let's just say Dubois, he beats Joe Joyce, knocks him out, okay? Then he fights Filip Hrgovic, folds the Croatian up. Let's just say he fight. Let's say Joe Joyce beat Dubois. Green Earth that Al Heyman and all parties involved in the Wilder team would allow Wilder to fight a guy coming off wins against Hrgovic and Joyce. No way in hell. No way, no how. Can't see it. Your king is here. Your king is here. The war has just begun. I am a king who will never give up. I am a king that will fight to the death. I'm sorry, man. I'm having too much fun. We got Hawker Mustang. My main man, Hawker Mustang. Got much love for Hawker Mustang. He says, Wilder says no. Yeah, probably. Wilder will definitely say no to that fight. Shout out to Pops. Here's Pops. He says, Dubois will school Wilder. Daniel Dubois better skill than Wilder. There you go. That's Pops. Pops letting you guys know raw and rugged. I don't know what he's doing at work right now, but he's at work probably just walking around, being the people's champ, being a legend. And I guess he had time to watch the live. And there's Pops letting y'all know that Daniel Dubois is going to school Wilder. Everybody in the chat, hey, all 19 people in the chat, say what's up to Pops while he's at work. Because right now he's at work. But he's chiming in. El Jefe, too, he says, true school. Salute, dude. Salute to you, El Jefe. Hope you're doing well. See, Pops also says, Daniel Dubois versus Joyce is a better fight than Wilder fighting either of these fighters. I think so. I think right now Wilder's just too vulnerable. You know, a loss like that, unless you're like a Manny Pacquiao or like a Roman Gonzalez or Roberto Duran, or like a fighter with like a real special mentality, it's hard to come back from a loss like that. It really is. Hawker Mustang says Wilder's going to lose to Tyson Fury and then retire. More than likely, he will lose to Tyson Fury. I think so. You know, I think that he's taking a fight because it's a cash out fight. It's a fight that's going to get him the most money, and he can ride off into the sunset and just enjoy his life. Enjoy his life. Enjoy time with his wife, his children, and enjoy the fruits of his labor. You know what I'm saying? What else? Who else we got? PMB, shout out to PMB, says Joyce and DDD both smashed everyone on Wilder's resume other than Fury. Yeah, I think you're right. I think I'm right. I think you're right. I mean, because I think both of them. I would definitely tab both of them to beat Luis Ortiz at this point in time. At this point in time, I would, because of the fact that just like Luis Ortiz. Now, if we're talking about Luis Ortiz in 2015, Luis Ortiz from 2015 would have enough stamina to beat those guys. But now he's a 5-round fighter at best, 5-6 rounds at best. Then he can't really move laterally, and then he moves in a straight line and gets clipped. It's bound to happen when he fights one of those guys. So I agree. Triple D says, hold on, he says, Triple D says Wilder is a punk, and then he says, yo, I'm a Triple D fan, but man, you lying to the fans. What did I lie about? What did I lie about? How you gonna say I'm lying? If you're gonna say I'm lying, be specific. All right, I'm a man of specifics. So if you're gonna tell me that I'm lying, specify what I'm lying about. Say it with your chest. HB says that Dubois would KO Wilder in 5. I believe so. I believe so. Oh, God. Here comes Pops. He says, if Wilder really loved Sophia, he would have manned up and fought real competition. Maybe, just maybe, Sophia would still be on his side. Ooh. Ooh. Pops dropping them bombs. He's dropping that mother, I'm going to call my boy Shady Slim. He's dropping that mother-loving ether, that shit that make your soul burn slow. Pops ain't pulling no punches. Let's see. L-Dog. Hey, there he is, the man himself. My main man, L-Dog. My fellow brethren in the Philip Hrgovic fan club. Philip Hrgovic, the best heavyweight prospect in the world. I don't want to hear it. Talk to him, L-Dog. Philip Hrgovic will KO Daniel Dubois. You damn right. You damn right. For those of you who don't know, me and L-Dog are big fans of Philip Hrgovic. Toey Bartlett says, what's up, Pops? The real people's champ. He is, man. Listen, I have no problems playing second fiddle to my dad. My dad's the man. My dad is the man. By the way, guys, I want to give you a heads up. There's 2 videos that are gonna drop within the next 3 or 4 days. That I did with Pops. You guys have been asking for more videos of Pops, so we shot 2 videos. We did one video where my dad talked about Mike Tyson and his and him hitting the pads. I think you guys are gonna like that one. And then we made a video about the most recent developments of Lomachenko and Lopez. So when those videos come out, make sure you guys watch them, and make sure you guys comment any other topics on those videos that you would want me to make a video about with my Pops, because I know everybody loves Pops. But yeah, man. Triple D fan says, Triple D Daniel Dynamite Denzel says, a man of Pacifics. Wow, true. No, not a man of Pacifics, a man of specifics. Okay, let me enunciate that S. I'm a man of specifics. So if you're gonna say that I'm lying about something, if you're gonna say I'm lying to the people, at least name what I'm lying about. Name what I'm lying about. I'm not lying about anything. I'm just a messenger. Don't shoot me. I'm just a damn messenger. Fish Eyes, your boy Frank Warren said that if this guy beats Joyce, he'll be ready to fight Deontay Wilder by the end of the year. That's an article on Seconds Out. So don't get mad at me. Get mad at Seconds Out. Get mad at all the other media outlets. They're reporting it. I'm just a messenger. I'm just relaying the info, because we need new subjects and things to talk about here on True School Sports. You know, there's only so much we can talk about Wilder Fury. Now we're still talking about Wilder, but it's Wilder against somebody new, so it's kind of fun. One SSS says Mike Tyson versus Luis Ortiz exhibition in 2020. I'm down for that. I'm definitely down for a Mike Tyson versus Luis Ortiz exhibition. We need that. You know, they're both about the same age, so I don't see why it can't happen. People need that fight. That's the fight that people are demanding and asking for. Make it happen. You know, I've heard through the grapevine that Luis Ortiz was a former Mike Tyson sparring partner any goddamn way. So why not? But yeah, it's your boy BT. We're live here on True School Sports. Shout out to all 17 of you in here. All right. Once again, I don't know if you guys caught it. Earlier, but this live True School Sports has been brought to you in part by
Kool-Aid with no motherfucking sugar.
That's the official sponsor. That's the official sponsor for every live, okay? That's the official sponsor for every live moving forward. All right. We got Triple D Dynamite Denzel. He's saying that true, man, I'm unsubscribing because you're too stubborn to admit when you're wrong. I mean, what am I wrong about? What am I lying about? Tell me in the comments. Okay. All right. Listen, I want you, Triple D. I mean, unless it's a Daniel Dubois himself. I don't know, because you never know who anybody is on YouTube. Listen, be specific. What am I lying about? Grab your balls. All right. Grab your balls. All right. Get some testosterone going and tell me in plain English what I'm wrong. What am I lying about? And how am I lying? Am I reporting false information? Frank Warren actually said that. He fucking said it. He said that they're looking to make the fight next. Straight up. L-Dog says, we need a Pops shadow boxing workout. He'll make BT look weak. Perhaps so. You know, yo, Dad, we got to do that. We got to have a Pops shadow boxing workout when it's like in the middle of the day, so you can sweat. Plus, Dad, you need to start boxing anyway, man. You trying to get you've been telling me for like the last 15 years you're gonna get in shape. Wait till I get my running shoes, but we still waiting, Pop. We still waiting, man. L-Dog letting this fool know. He's letting this fool know. He's letting him know. Come back when Hergovic KOs your boy. I want to drink your tears. You damn right. You damn right. Especially if he fights Philip Hergovic in the Florida Panthers jersey. You don't want that smoke. Philip Hergovic in the Florida Panthers jersey is different. He's cut from a different cloth. You see what I'm saying? What else though? I'm trying to think of. There's other videos that are coming out soon too that I wanted to put you guys on game to. There's a video me and my pops did. Me and him were basically just like, we drove down the highway in South Florida. So for those of you who are like from Europe or not from the South Florida area, we gave you a little tour of one of our favorite parts of South Florida. This man said, "Okay, I'm unsubbing, man. You're treating people different based on IQ and eating habits." Eating habits? Where did you get eating habits from? People different on IQ. I mean, I'm just asking you to clarify to me what I'm lying about. What, are you talking about Wilder? I'm not treating Wilder. I mean, I don't know if you're talking about Wilder. Are you trying to insinuate that I think Wilder is stupid, or that you're stupid, or who do I think is stupid? Andy Ruiz? Wait, are you making an Andy Ruiz reference because I said he was Jabba the Hutt in one of my Anthony Joshua videos? I don't know. I don't know what you're going on about. I really don't. But I hope to make this fight at some point. Just because I think Wilder Fury, we beat it like a dead horse. Like there's really not much more we can see from that fight. We've seen all we need to see. I know L Dog would disagree with me because L Dog will say, well, I know L Dog said in the last live, I wanted to see Wilder get knocked out the ring. And it was just about to happen. Just when it was getting good, they threw in the towel. So yeah. By the way, for the 19 of you that are here, do me a favor in the comment section. Let me know where you're watching from right now, and I'll shout you out. I will shout you out just out of curiosity. Let's see how international we can get. I want to see how international we are at the moment. Triple D says, remember 2 streams ago when you was talking about the Eagles in Canada? The Eagles in Canada. No, but can you refresh my memory? Tell me the context. That I actually don't remember that, because 2 streams ago was a long time ago. That was like a month ago. Do you know how many videos and how much content I pump out in a month's time? It's very easy for me to forget like things I say or things in lives, because these lives, especially since quarantine, have been 5 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. So please refresh my memory. Right? We got L Dog coming to you live and direct from New Zealand. We got Jeffrey DeRowan. Hold on. From Beaumont, Texas. I don't know what your question is, Jeffrey. BT, what are your thoughts on Hrgovic versus Dubois? That's a great fight. That's the best prospect fight you can make in the heavyweight division at the moment, because we talk Daniel Dubois. We're talking about a guy that people, I don't know. I've heard many comparisons from Daniel Dubois. I've heard people compare him to Anthony Joshua. I've heard people compare him to Frank Bruno. I've heard people compare him to Lennox Lewis. I've heard Larry Holmes. I've heard Riddick Bowe, which is like, I can't compare Dubois to Bowe. I think it's unfair to compare anybody to a young Riddick Bowe. Young Riddick Bowe is as good as they come. But I like that fight. Hrgovic is like the new Vladimir Klitschko. He reminds me a lot of Vladimir Klitschko. Fantastic fighter. I think under Pedro Diaz, he's been getting better. I think Pedro Diaz is going to continue to improve Filip Hrgovic. And to me, like, look, when we talk about the great like trainer fighter combos in boxing, I feel like that's the next one, or it's going to be the next one. Pedro Diaz and Filip Hrgovic. Because for those of you who don't know about Pedro Diaz is like, I mean, when we talk about the best boxing trainers in the world, Pedro Diaz is without a shadow of a doubt top 5 best boxing trainers in the world. How could he not be? I mean, if you look at what he did with the Cuban amateur team, they won. What was it, L Dog? L Dog knows numbers better than me. like 20 plus gold medals in a 15-year span, like 20 or 30 gold medals, something like that. You know, the best period of Cuban boxing, some of the best Cuban boxers of all time were under the tutelage of Pedro Diaz. You know, your guys like Felix Savon, your guys like Guillermo Rigondeaux. And he's actually been able to translate that into the pros. He's worked with a couple of world champions, from Rigondeaux to Cotto to, you know, just a whole host of guys. So I really feel like that's going to be one of the next great, you know, trainer fighter combos in boxing. But that's just my opinion. We got my man GMB Catastrophe, you know, the swimming coach, the guy with all the knowledge on fitness. You know, it's funny, GMB. Before hopping this live, I ran about 3 miles. I ran 3 miles in the sweltering hot South Florida sun. And while I was running the North Miami streets, I was shadow boxing, and I was throwing all these combinations while I was running. I had my Novak Djokovic Lacoste jacket on, so I was sweating. And I'm feeling pretty good. So good to see you in the comments. He says, I want Andy Ruiz to come back at 2:30, chiseled out of a rock. I'd like him to have a 3-fight deal with Deontay Wilder. Let the man most nimble on his feet win. I could definitely, you know, I was having this discussion with somebody the other night about that fight. And I really think Andy Ruiz at his best would have a great chance against Wilder. Because my thing is this, and this is my problem with Wilder. This is just my objective criticism of why I think he will struggle against most fighters, is that he doesn't have the kind of jab that will control. He can't control a fight with a jab. If Wilder can control a fight with a jab, he'd be 10 times more dangerous. He'd be 15 times more dangerous, but he can't. So because of that, I think he's going to have a real problem keeping Ruiz off of him, and he's going to trade with Ruiz. And listen, any man, any fighter that's going to trade with Andy Ruiz is in for a very tough fight. Very tough fight. No two ways about it. So I think that would be a great fight. I think that's actually the route PBC and Wilder should go. They should have all the heavyweights fight each other. Ruiz versus Wilder, Helenius versus Ortiz, Frank Sanchez versus Abjagba. Just do all those fights. Kanaki versus whoever you want. Do that, because if they go outside the PBC, they're all going to get blatantly folded up like a blue steel chair. Let's see. We got a super chat. My man, Crazy D3 with the £5 super chat. So, hey, shout out to my man, Crazy D3. Thank you for the support. He says, Warren's blatantly disrespecting Joyce, who's in his stable. I wouldn't be surprised if Joyce wins and tells Fish Eyes to fuck off. You know what? I like that. Well, I'll be honest. Look, Crazy D3. I know technically Joyce is in the Warren stable, but he's made it no secret that who his allegiance is with. Even if you go back and look at the press conference, you know, Joyce is more of a Sam Jones guy. You know, Sam Jones is more invested in Joyce than Warren is. Warren's got all his eggs in that Dubois basket. He thinks he's gonna be the next great heavyweight from the UK. So, yeah, you bring up a great point, a fair point, and I see it on I do see that as a blatant disrespect. So, yeah, thank you for bringing that up, and thank you for the £5 super chat and the support. Hope you're doing well, and hope you're staying safe. Crazy D3, shout out to him. Let's get some comments that were just above that. Okay, we got Boxing Legends. He says, I think he would beat Hrgovic, and he would outbox him. Okay, perhaps so. I want to see it at some point. We got 20 gold medals. Yeah, it was Pedro Diaz won 20 gold medals. Yeah, so Pedro Diaz, I mean, there's not many boxing trainers in the world more accomplished than Pedro Diaz. So if there's anybody that can mold a great championship fighter, it's Pedro Diaz. Dubois is more formatish, not super quick, not big and strong, but big and strong, hamrod jab, heavy, thudding kind of power in both hands, and good at cutting the ring up. Yeah, that's probably the most sound comparison I've heard so far. Same kind of qualities. I would just say they're different in terms of their body types. Obviously, Foreman, I would say, was more of a wide load. He was more of a tank, if you will. But great comparisons for BC. Definitely appreciate your feedback. LA12 says, yeah, Efe Ajagba is a horrible starter when he fights. the wrong matchup, it can KO him. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's gonna be a lot of guys that aren't even top heavyweights that I think give this guy problems. Like I'll give you a name. I'll give you a guy in the PBC stable that I think could give Efe Ajagba a really tough fight. And people might think I'm crazy, but I think Travis Kaufman. I think Travis, my time Kaufman, as you know, as past it as he is, as fat as he looks. I think the southpaw Travis Kaufman could really take some rounds off of Efe Ajagba, make him look silly. I really think so. And then once you get past that Travis Kaufman level, I think it gets real tough for Ajagba. Ajagba is so raw and has so much to learn. So they better be really slow and just take the time with him. Fine folks at PBC. What else we got? Who else we got? Chris Crawley. Shout out to my main man, Chris Crawley. He says, "Hi, BT. Hello, Chris." He says, Daniel Dubois is the real deal, and all the heavyweights have been put on notice. UK boxing is going strong right now. Yeah, man. Shout out to the UK. I got mad love for the UK. I love the UK. I love all the Brits. You guys are on a high right now. You guys have a lot of great fighters. This is probably the best period in modern day boxing history for British boxing. You got the world. You got a lot more of the world caring about what goes on in the British boxing scene. So, hey, fair play to you guys. I'm really enjoying what's going on out of there, and I'm hoping sometime in the next year or two I could go on to the UK and cover a fight and take in more of the UK boxing scene because I got a little taste of it when I went there in December, but there's still more to explore. So yeah, shout out to you, Chris. GMB says, "Oh yeah, Andy is terrific. Those hooks, but if one fighter becomes more nimble, that could neutralize the other. Absolutely. But it had, a fighter. These fighters, and when I say these fighters, I mean Wilder and I mean Ruiz. They got to kind of will themselves into becoming a nimble fighter. It's not just going to happen. So if they maintain the same training methods, if they employ the similar, training habits, they're going to get the same results. They got to do new things. If you want new things, if you want new results, you got to do new things. Simple as that. It's basic principle of life." L Dog says, "Did you listen to Unrival's video on what to expect when boxing returns? We might get Hergovic versus White later this year because White has to defend against the top 15 WBC heavyweight." You're talking about the video he did with Blue Collar Sports, right? Yeah, I had a chance to listen to that yesterday. Big shout out to my man Mark from Unrivaled Boxing Talking News, one of the really good upcoming channels. Fantastic knowledge on boxing. Really loves the sport. Really, you'll learn something every time you talk to him about boxing. So yeah, shout out to Mark. I saw it was a good video. We might get Hergovic versus White later this year. I would love to see that fight. I think Hergovic is all wrong for Dillian White. I think that will derail the Dillian White's WBC plans if that happens. Straight up. Because when we talk about Hergovic, he's gonna be taller, longer, rangier, got the good amateur pedigree. And Dillian White, I mean, I know boxing is not a bodybuilding contest, but he doesn't keep himself in the best shape. And that's why you can see a guy like Marius Vac go in there and have success against him. And I know we're not going to use I'm not going to use the whole theory, well, if this guy has success, then this guy's going to have success. Because fighters fight up and down to the level of other opposition all the time. But I think Hergovic is going to fold up Dillian White if they fight. Straight up. Straight up. We got LA12. What's LA12 saying? My man LA12. Joyce is solid. Why is everyone counting him out? They're counting him out, LA, because of the fact that he's not the most aesthetically pleasing heavyweight in the world. He doesn't got like this great body. He's not like the most devastating puncher. He's a respectable puncher, but he's not the most devastating puncher. He's not incredibly fast. He's probably the slowest heavyweight in the division. So they ignore all the good qualities and they look at what they deem to be shortcomings or weaknesses, and that's why they're sliding him. That's why they're counting him out. Okay, we got L Dog. He says only the top 15 heavyweights in WBC from the zone are Hergovic and Hunter. I hope they make Hergovic versus White. I think Philip can beat him. I think Philip will stop him. Straight up. I mean, Rivas dropped him. Joshua dropped him. I think Hergovic is skillful enough and smart enough as a fighter to put down a Dillian White. And White Parker dropped him too, I think, or he hurt him. I don't remember if he dropped him in the 12th round, but I know he had him out on his feet. Hrgovic versus Helenius of Brazil. I mean, if Hrgovic decides to go that route next, that's also another good step up for Filip Hrgovic. No doubt about it. Hold on. But before I even read this comment, hold on. Let me give this man his proper respect. Hold on. Let me give this man his proper respect. Hold on.
I'm the champ. I'm the real champ. Oh, yeah.
There you go. We got my man Jairo Galvez. He says, I'm the real champ. When you come to LA and visit, he says, we're going to spar, and I'm going to land my legendary punch from the gods. Yeah, I can't wait to visit Sinisa Estrada. She's been taking some. Her pictures are getting more provocative. Like I follow her on Instagram because I've been following her for years. She follows me too on Instagram. Shout out to Sinisa Estrada. Her pictures are getting more provocative by the year. I swear to God. I mean, it's almost like now she's realized. It's almost like Sinisa Estrada has realized she's fine and she's letting the world know. It's like, yeah. So I can't wait for that visit. I was actually supposed to go to LA in late April. But you said when I go there, we're gonna spar. We can spar. You don't want no smoke, Jairo. BT, I know what I wanted to ask you. Is your man Stacy training Shannon the Cannon for his medical fight in the summer? No, that's definitely not happening. Because, well, I've had a conversation with Stacy recently. Like the last time I went to his gym, which was in March, we had a long conversation about boxing, and Shannon's name came up, and he was giving me some insight into what it was like training him, and basically, he let me know that under no circumstances is that going to happen. He's not going to be training Shannon Briggs. He just can't mentally deal with it because he said Shannon is very moody. I mean, I won't get too deep into it, but to answer your question simply, no, he won't. Shannon Briggs is going to be trained by Jesse Robinson, who you also may be familiar, who I'm sure you're familiar with on my channel. He's being trained by Jesse Robinson. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Toby also says, because Shannon's fighting Mark Goodbeer, who lives about 12 to 15 miles away from you. Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, I feel bad for whoever fights Shannon Briggs bare knuckle. Shannon Briggs got cinder blocks. Okay? Shannon's got them cinder blocks in both hands. He got fucking TNT in both hands. Let me see what else we got here. I see we got all kinds of great people in here right now. See, GMB says, that's why I like a free fight deal, because it would force either Andy or Deontay or both to plug up those holes. Yeah, that's the way to go. You know what, GMB? PBC should hire you. PBC should definitely hire you. You probably do a better job than a lot of people that work for them. We got the man with the plan, 50 grand, Troy Graham. What's up, champ? He says, what's good, people? Good to see Troy Graham. Troy always has great insights. He came in here at our last live, and he definitely had a lot to definitely say. So I appreciate and have much respect for Troy Graham. I still got to watch that Simon Brown fight. I haven't had a chance to watch that because I was watching a lot of Riddick Bowe. I was watching Riddick Bowe fights the other day, and then I watched Romo Gonzalez, and then I was watching Oscar De La Hoya. I watched Oscar De La Hoya versus Felix Sturm yesterday, and then I watched what else did I watch? I watched a whole bunch of fights the other day. So I'm gonna watch that fight, Troy, because I want to give you my take on it whenever I watch it. What else we got? Hold on. I saw a comment I wanted to highlight, boy. L-Dog asked a great question. I want to answer this because I think this is a great question to answer. He says, BT, you look pretty natural at shadowboxing. Have you competed as an amateur? No, I've actually never had an amateur fight in my life. I'll tell you the story. I think I've told it many times before, but I'll tell you the story. I started boxing when I was like I'm 25 now, so I started boxing when I was 19 years old. I started training at one of the local gyms in my area. There's only one gym in my city because my city is very small. There's one gym, and it's called Canino's Boxing Gym. It's trained by this woman named Bonnie Canino, and she's actually in the Martial Arts Hall of Fame, the Kickboxing Hall of Fame, and the Women's Boxing Hall of Fame. She was a fantastic fighter in her day. She was like one of the pioneers of women's boxing. But like her gym is like pretty underrated. Like Glenn Johnson used to train there sometimes. Tavares Cloud did his whole training camp for the Gabriel Campillo fight at Canino's boxing gym. Who else has been at that gym? Logan Eunice sparred. I mean, it's got a little bit of history. So I started boxing at 19, and you know, as a younger kid, like when I was a kid, I used to play a lot of baseball. I played a lot of baseball. Baseball is my main sport, and baseball, like to play baseball, you gotta be pretty athletic. Baseball is a pretty, baseball is a good sport to play. I think it translates to boxing because in baseball you got to think of strategy. You always got to think 2 or 3 moves ahead. You got to think of scenarios. So it's kind of like boxing in the sense of where you got to anticipate things in baseball the same way you would in boxing. And then baseball is like a sport where you're doing things in short intervals. So if a ball is hit in the air, you got to go run and catch it. Or if you're hitting, you got to hit the ball and run to first base really quickly. So it's a lot of short interval type of work. So it was a pretty good transition for me to go from baseball to boxing, even though I hadn't played baseball in years when I started boxing. But like I went to the gym and like I just wanted to learn, man. When I first walked into the boxing gym, I just wanted to learn. I wanted to spar whoever. I didn't care if it was a guy who was 160. I didn't care if it was a guy who was 168, 175. I don't care if it was a guy who was my size, smaller, bigger. It didn't matter to me. I just wanted to learn. So I started sparring all these different kinds of people: fast people, skinny people, fat people, fast people, hard punchers, soft punchers, inside fighters, outside fighters. And I got my ass kicked a couple of times because, who doesn't get their ass kicked when they first start boxing? I mean, I think if you don't get your ass kicked when you first start boxing, you're doing it wrong. Everyone gets their ass kicked at some point when they first start boxing. And my trainer, right, this crazy woman, she threw me in with some tough ass people. I mean, some experienced ass people. I mean, my first couple of sparring sessions, nobody you guys would know, but like there was this one kid named Diego that I used to spar. This I think he's Brazilian or some shit like that. He used to do kickboxing, and he was a good boxer too. And he threw punches from these weird ass angles. Like he who he fought like? I'm gonna tell you exactly who this dude fought like. This dude Diego, he fought like John Riel Casimiro. I don't know if you guys have ever seen John Riel Casimiro fight, but John Riel Casimiro throws punches from like these weird ass angles, and they're hard thudding punches. So I remember I sparred this kid Diego, and it was kind of like the same thing. Obviously, he's not punching as hard as Casimiro, but same thing, like throwing these hard thudding punches. I remember he beat my ass in sparring. That was the worst sparring session I ever had in my life. I got dropped and hit with a 3-piece. I mean, but that was like one of my first sparring sessions. I was still pretty new. I've gotten a lot better and gotten stronger. And so I've gotten better at boxing since then. So I don't know how it would go if we sparred now. I actually saw him recently for the first time in years, and I told him I need to get my rematch. I need to get my sparring session back. But yeah, man. So to answer your question, no, I've sparred a number of rounds, but I never had an amateur fight or anything like that. I'll be honest, I might have one at some point in time, but I don't really have that ambition right now to have one. But I do want to get back to sparring. I want to spar like a lot of the local kids in my area, local fighters in my area who are around my weight. I think that'd be fun to do. Because when I spar and I get the experience in the ring, it helps me understand boxing more. It helps me understand what I'm talking about more, and just those kind of things, So I hope that I answered your question. My man 1SS said, he said, what happens if Sinisa Estrada started an OnlyFans? Oh man. Now listen, I'm at a stage in my life right now where I'm trying to practice discipline. Like, I'm trying to do away with the masturbation, all that stuff. I'm just focused on working out, grinding here on True School Sports, get my money, save my money, invest my money, just being smart with what I'm doing with my life, and not simping, not doing or exhibiting any type of simp behaviors. And I've told myself that I will never pay or go on OnlyFans. I've made that promise myself, but I'm not gonna lie to you, right? I'm not gonna lie to you, 1SS. If that happened, I'd be very I'd be very tempted to go on there. But no, I won't do that. I won't do that. Why would you pay? Why would you pay for naked photos of a woman? Because that's all it is. OnlyFans is just paying for naked photos of a woman. There's no point in doing that. If you want to go that route, there's websites for that. you can fulfill your fantasies other ways and do it for free. Why would you pay for that? That's worse than just, you know, masturbating all day, because, you know, if you masturbate, it's just over and you can continue, you can carry on with your day. But if you masturbate and then you pay for OnlyFans, you went ahead and you did that. You depleted yourself, and you've wasted valuable money. So yeah, that's a double whammy. Anyway, let's change the subject. LA12 says Casemiro or Inoue. Me and my dad were having this discussion recently because he did a video about this. We did a video about this. I got Inoue stopping Casemiro in the later rounds. I would say like a 10th round stoppage, because I just think the boxing skills are gonna be able to keep Casemiro off of him. If you watch the way Casemiro fights, Casemiro's a very patient fighter. He's patient in waiting for the shots, but when he lands the big shots, then he goes and attacks. The only way I could see Casemiro losing or beating Inoue is if the monster just has a horrible night defensively and gets caught with flush shot after flush shot after flush shot. It's a good fight, but I just think Inoue has the extra bit of class that Casemiro lacks. But it's definitely a fight worth watching, and a fight that I hope happens at some point in the near future. But yeah, it's your boy BT. We're live here on True School Sports. I can't believe it. It's already 7:34. It's crazy. I woke up late. I woke up at like 12:30 p.m. Then I went for a run, and it was like 3 p.m. when I started planning this live. And now it's already 7:34. So y'all smash that like button while I go get a glass of water, because I need a glass of water. My damn throat is killing me. You know, I've been live. I think we've been live for like about what, an hour and 14 minutes, something like that. So we'll go for even 2 hours. But after that, I really have to get off because I got other things I gotta take care of. I got other videos to upload, and I got things I gotta do tomorrow. I got things I gotta do tomorrow, and just errands to run. So I can't make this a TSS quarantine extravaganza, but we'll have one soon. I don't know when, but we'll have one soon. And I got some other lives planned. I got some other like interesting lives planned that I think you guys are really gonna enjoy coming up in the near future. So stay tuned for that. But let's get to some more comments here on True School Sports. Let's see. Let me see. Why is who? Okay, I don't know what you're saying in the beginning there, Chris. But you're saying that you can't see Hergovich beating Dillian White. I can see it. I could definitely see it. And in fact, I could tell you exactly. I can tell you the exact punch he's going to do it with. He's going to do it with a straight right hand. He go fold him up with a straight right hand. Maybe a left hook, but I think a right hand's a good bet. Right hand's the best bet. Or maybe the left hook. Maybe the left hook's the best hook. Maybe it'll be the case of the left hook is the best hook. I don't know, but I think he would stop Dillian White if they fight. I bet you Eddie Hearn will make the fight. Guarantee you Eddie Hearn will make that fight. He can't afford to have Dillian White get beat just yet. He's got to cash him out. Well, BC Ramirez versus Shakur Stevenson. That'd be an interesting one. That surely wouldn't be a fight for main event television here in America, because that's got technical boxing written all over it. I'd go with Shakur Stevenson. I think the world of Shakur. I think Shakur is a special fighter. I think he's probably of the young American fighters. All the young American fighters are on this way, like, your Chris Colbert's, your Ryan Garcias, your, Devin Haney's, Teofimo's, guys like that. I would put him and Teofimo are like my 1A and 1B. Obviously Teofimo is more exciting, and I think he's got more star power. But if we're talking about who do I think is going to be the best fighter when it's all said and done, it's 1A and 1B, Teofimo and Shakur for me. White struggles against tall boxers. You damn right. Although you speaking the truth. You speaking nothing but the truth. Let's see what else is going on in boxing. Just out of curiosity, I haven't even checked the boxing news. I just saw that one thing about Warren today. LA 12. Well, yeah, LA 12 says Jaron Ennis. I like Jaron Ennis. I'm a huge Jaron Ennis fan. But he's a 147 pounder. I'm talking about them guys like 130, 135, 126. I'm talking about that whole weight club. I'm talking about those weights, 130. Whenever you hear me talk like that and I say, oh, the young American fighters are on this weight, what I mean is 130, 135, 126. I'm not talking about the welterweights. But if you're asking me I think the world of Jaron Ennis, and I know we've had this discussion many times on our lives before, like when other people have been here. I really think that I think Jaron is going to beat Virgil Ortiz, and like I know L Dog and Mark were saying, well, Virgil Ortiz stopped. I think he got stopped in the amateurs by Gary Russell's brother and all this stuff, which is fair enough. But the amateurs and the pros are different. It's just different. Like fighters mature, fighters get better, fighters learn new tricks of the trade. And Jaron Ennis, when we talk about his skill set, when we talk about everything that he's coming to the ring with, he's got it all. He's got every skill under the sun. He's got combinations, he's got defense, he's got switch hitting ability, he's got punching power in both hands. There really isn't anything he can't do in a boxing ring. And while Virgil Ortiz, much like Jaron Ennis, they both have been looking sensational in their fights. While Virgil Ortiz has been looking like the welterweight Mexican Mike Tyson, knocking everybody out, let's just be real. He ain't really fought anybody with the athleticism or the versatility or the punching power of Jaron Ennis. And they say speed is power, and Jaron Ennis has a lot of speed. So I'm looking forward to that fight. Everybody's on that Virgil hype. Everybody's on the Virgil hype train right now. I'm on the Virgil hype train. I love Virgil Ortiz. I'm a huge fan of his, but I like Ennis a lot. I like Ennis more, and I'm probably in the minority when I say that. Everybody's saying that Virgil Ortiz is going to beat the shit out of Jaron Ennis when it happens. I'm going with Ennis. I just think his versatility, his athleticism, and more importantly, his maturation as a fighter. Because by the time they fight, I believe he will have matured a lot more as a fighter. And we're gonna really see. By the time they fight, we will have seen the best of Jaron Ennis. But speaking of Jaron Ennis, I'm hoping to see him step up soon. Like, it's like that Kavaluskis, Sergey Lipinets like level. I think that's like the next level he needs to go to. That'd be a good step up fight, and we learn a lot about just how good he is and where he's at in his career if he fights those guys. My man LA 12, he's laying on me. He's laying it on me smooth, raw and rugged. He's saying, look, BT, Jaron Ennis can't deal with getting roughed up with a good opponent. And I'm gonna disagree with that. First of all, the guy's from Philadelphia. The guy is from freaking Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And to just train in a Philadelphia boxing gym, you have to know how to deal with being roughed up and dealing with war level opposition and things like that. So I'm gonna disagree with that, but we'll see what happens. Only time will tell. Like I told you, I think Jaron Ennis has every skill under the sun: boxing ability, fundamentals, speed, athleticism, power, switch hitting, mid-range, outside, inside, whatever you want it, he's got it. For me, if we're talking about the wow factor, and this is only my opinion, if we're talking about the young fighters in boxing right now, Teofimo Lopez and Jaron Ennis are as good as it gets as far as when it comes to the wow factor. Yulusinov, oh my God, Yulusinov. That's another guy that trains in my area. It's L Dog. Daniel Yulusinov trains like 40 minutes north of where I live. It's funny. I actually saw Yulusinov the night of Wilder Fury 2. He was at the boxing gym / bar that I went to, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, that'd be a good fight. Yulusinov, he's someone that's looking for greatness in boxing. He's someone that's looking to make a mark and leave his stamp on the welterweight division. He's coming in with a lot of amateur pedigree and a whole lot to prove. That Jaron and that Xander Zayas. Not Xander Zayas. We'll get to Xander in a minute. Yulusinov is very good. I like Yulusinov a lot. Hell of a fighter. We'll see. We'll see. I think he'd probably be a better matchup for a guy like Virgil Ortiz, though, because I just think Jaron Ennis' foot speed is going to make that fight very difficult for him, as to where he'd be able to use a lot more of his technical boxing ability against a guy like Ortiz. But we'll see. I hope these fights happen. I really do. I really, really do. How do you rate Xander Zayas? Oh, that's my man right there. All right, Xander Zayas, one of South Florida's very own. Okay, yes, that's you damn right. For those of you who didn't know, you know I'm gonna put y'all in game right now. If you never heard me say this, if you never heard me say this, you'll hear me say this for the first time. Okay, I'm gonna put y'all in game. Teofimo Lopez was born in New York, correct? But he grew up in South Florida, and he trained at the Davy Powell, under the tutelage of his father and the late great Peter Balkunas, R.I.P. to Peter Balkunas. And that's where Teofimo Lopez honed his skills. He became world champion, so he's the Davy Powell's first world champion. And Xander Zayas, much like Teofimo Lopez, came up in the Davy Powell as well. So shout out to the Davy Powell, one of the underrated boxing gyms here in South Florida. Can't wait to go back. I can't wait to go back to the Davy Powell. It's one of my favorite boxing gyms in South Florida. But what do I think about Xander Zayas? I think with him, he's got to take his time. He's still trying to figure out who he is as a person at that. Because when you're 18, 17, 19 years old, you're trying to find your way in life. And he's definitely trying to find his way in life and in the ring. So I think, when we look at some of the attributes he has, for his weight class, he's long, he's rangy, he's got a good base under him. He had a long, decorated amateur career. He's the youngest fighter to ever sign a contract with Top Rank Boxing. I believe he signed at 17 years old. He puts his punches together really nicely. He seems to have respectable punching power, and that power you'd be led to believe will only increase at strength. So I think right now, when you look at the landscape of boxing, and particularly Puerto Rican boxing, Xander Zayas he's now finding himself in the same situation that Felix Verdejo was in 2015. He has a chance to fill those shoes, those big shoes. I mean, when we talk about big shoes, we're talking about the shoes of a giant. He could fill he has a chance if he wins, looks impressive, and just keeps looking impressive in fights, to fill the shoes of Miguel Cotto as the next Puerto Rican boxing star. I'm not saying whether he will or he won't, but I'm just saying he has the opportunity, because right now, when we look at the great Puerto Rican, the top Puerto Rican fighters, your Danny Garcias, your Emmanuel Rodriguez's, your Jose Pedrazas, there just really isn't a whole ton of guys that could fill those shoes, that have the combination of style, of personality, of being able to connect with the Puerto Rican audience like a Xander Zayas. So I just think the sky's the limit for the kid, and he's got a good base and a good solid foundation that he got from the amateurs. And I just hope Top Rank takes the time with him, and I hope he takes time with himself and doesn't try to rush the process. So how do I rate him? I rate him as a fighter that could go very far and be the cash cow Puerto Rican boxing. If it all goes to shit, then I think he'll just be a solid fighter at worst. That's my opinion. I think at worst he's going to be a solid fighter. Ennis hasn't fought anyone in 26 fights. Ortiz has a better resume. I mean, neither one of them have fought anybody. And honestly, look, you're going to say, well, he fought Herrera. But, I mean, Herrera's an awkward, light punching, past his prime, 147 pounder. I mean, Orozco, he was a guy whose first fight in the division was against Ortiz. So, I mean, that was a good win. But, how much stock can you put into the win? I'm just saying, they both haven't fought anybody, to be honest with you. Ortiz has fought slightly better opposition. He's fought better fighters in terms of name recognition. Okay, Brad Solomon, a better name. Herrera, a better name. Orozco, these are better names. But if you once you really get into the context of the wins, how much better are they wins than the guys Ennis has on his resume? They're not much better. Thank you, L Dog. Thank you. A piece of paper doesn't win you a fight. Exactly. And a wise man once told me, a wise man in a boxing gym once told me one time, he said, everybody at some point in their career never fought anybody or never fought nobody. You know, there was always a point in somebody's career where they fought nobody. You know, there was a point in Muhammad Ali's career where he had fought nobodies. There was a point in Floyd Mayweather's career where he fought nobodies. There was a point in Joe Calzaghe's career where he fought nobodies. There was a point in Roman Cholatito Gonzalez's career where he fought nobodies. Okay, I'm just saying. So resumes don't win you fights. Thank you, L Dog. Boots does look better on the eye. You're right, Smarty Jones. He looks much better on the eye. LA12 says that he thinks Xander Zayas will outgrow the 147-pound division. He will. There's no question about that. I think once he fills out, he might fill out at 154, 160. Maybe when he gets older, maybe he might even go as high as 175 because he's a tall. I mean, we'll see. He's got growing to do. He's a growing boy. But I like Zayas as a fellow Puerto Rican and a fellow South Florida. You know, I'm not a South Florida native, but I might as well be because I lived here like, 21 and a half out of my 25 years on earth. So I might as well be a South Florida native. As a guy who loves South Florida and is from Puerto Rico, I'm going to support him. He's a South Florida kid. Anybody who's from South Florida that's doing something in boxing, I'm supporting him. So Lawrence Newton, Dominique Francis, Xander Zayas, Teofimo Lopez, those guys. Yeah, hey, shout out to my man from Wales, my Welsh brethren, my man Cone Boston. He says, wow, your first live in a while. And he's asking me about what's this about Daniel Dubois. Oh, you missed it earlier. Yeah, I spent the first whole hour talking about that, the first 45, 50 minutes talking about that. Basically what happened, Cone, was that what happened was Frank Warren came out and said, and you can go Google this yourself. Don't just take my word for it. But Frank Warren came out and said himself that basically, if Daniel Dubois beats Joe Joyce in his next fight, he'll look to take the Deontay Wilder fight next in 2020, which sounds kind of unrealistic because with all the things going on in the world right now. But that's basically what he stated. He stated that he's willing and prepared to make the Deontay Wilder Daniel Dubois fight if he beats Joe Joyce in his next fight. All you gotta do is run it back. That's all you gotta do. Just run it back. Watch the playback whenever it goes up. We got Travis. Hey, my man Travis Bellis. He says, just open the beat. Man, that's great news, man. I can't wait. I'll tell you this. Speaking as a South Florida native, speaking as somebody who, as I've gotten older, I've really grown an appreciation for the beach because, when you live here your whole life, you take things for granted. I would love to just go to the beach, have a nice bottle of Coca-Cola or a can, either one, sit down and just watch the world go by. That's one of my favorite things to do is just go to Hollywood Beach or Dania Beach or Miami Beach, Fort Lauderdale Beach, park my ass on the bench, have a Coke or a Dr. Pepper, and just watch the world go by. Watch beautiful women walk by. Watch people walking the dog. I like the simple stuff. The simple things in life are my pleasures, So lucky you. They haven't opened up any of them, the beaches in my area yet. So good for you. Hope you're enjoying the beach. And yeah, L Dog, I definitely do got to interview Donnie Yulusinoff. I have to, at some point. Cone Boston says, LMAO, he's selling him down the river. He's feeding him to Wilder. You think so? I don't think so. I think you might think I'm crazy for this, Cone, but I think that at this stage, I'm gonna explain to you why. Cause I explained this earlier. Joe Joyce is 34 years old. Wilder is 34 years old, but I think Joe Joyce is a tougher fight for Deontay Wilder because of the fact that psychologically speaking, he's not in as vulnerable as a place as Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is in a much more vulnerable place than Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is a 6'6" silver medalist, undefeated heavyweight who just coming off a win against Brian Jennings. So he's going to be a lot more in a more of a hungrier place, I would be led to believe. So I think it's a better fight for him against Joyce than it is against Wilder. I think he's gonna stop Wilder in 5 rounds or less. They fight. Oh man, I'm actually glad you said that. Travis Bella says, "I want to sit on the beach and read your book, champ." That's funny. Yeah, man. I haven't even worked on my book. What's funny is like I'm not even that far away from finishing my book, but I haven't actually like sat down and just finished the last couple of chapters. But for those of you who don't know what Travis is talking about, that's how my man Travis has been following me for a while. In the early parts of 2019, like January of 2019, I started writing a book about my experiences covering boxing, some of the stories covering boxing from the fighters, and some of the things that I've gotten a chance to witness behind the scenes in boxing here in South Florida and just in my travels. And I haven't finished it yet, but when I finish it, I'll definitely put it out there. Hopefully you guys go out there and get it. There's all kinds of interesting things in there in that book. But I got to work on it too. I got to work on it too. Maybe I'll finish it before boxing starts up again because I don't think I'll ever have a better opportunity to finish up that damn book. For those of you wondering what the title of the book is going to be, the title of the book is Just a Kid from Dania, The Boxing Journey of True School Sports. That's the name of the book. So stay tuned. I don't know when it's going to drop, so I can't give you a timetable. It's just going to get finished when it gets finished. And when it does get finished, you guys will hear about it. Oh, here's a great comment from my man Sparty Jones. Eddie Hearn should have nabbed Boots, not Devin Haney. Yeah, I agree with. I mean, I don't know about that. Devin Haney is a fantastic fighter, but it would have done him a lot of good if he would also got Jerron Boots Ennis. Plus, too, like I don't know, man. Listen, I'm a big fan of Jerron Boots Ennis. I think Jerron Ennis is gonna be something special. Like I really do. I think he's gonna be world champion. He's gonna be the next great Philadelphia fighter. You know, I think like he's gonna be something in boxing. I mean, if we look at all the prospects in boxing, like if we look at like all the young fighters, Javante Davis, Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz, Haney, Lopez, Dubois, Jucan, Chris Colbert, Shakur Stevenson, I can say with confidence the only guys as far as the American fighters go that I have zero doubts about. I mean, I'm talking not even a slither of a doubt that they'll be successful and be great are Teofimo, Virgil Ortiz, Shakur Stevenson, and Jerron Ennis. Those 4 right there, I think, are gonna all be special fighters in their own weight classes in their own right. Travis says, dude, you're friends with our heroes. You got stories. I do have some stories, man. And like, there's so like, I'm not gonna give you too much information. I don't want to talk too much about what's in the book, but what I will say is, there's a chapter. There's gonna be a whole chapter in that book just about Bowen Holyfield, and there's so many stories I have to add just to that damn chapter. So yeah, I should probably start doing that soon, because I really do want to put my first book out there, because I already have my ideas for the second book and the third book, but I can't get to the second or third book if I don't finish the first. So once I finish the first book, the second one's gonna be quick. The second one is not gonna be that hard to finish, and the third one is gonna be a big project. The third one is gonna be a big project. I don't want to divulge too much information into what the second or third books are about. But the first book is specifically about my life covering boxing. What are your thoughts on Nikita Abibi? I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of just indifferent towards Nikita Abibi. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's bad. He's just there. He's obviously not a bad fighter. But I don't see anything that leads me to believe that he's going to be like the next great fighter from America or anything like that. But who knows? I will admit that I probably should go watch more tape on him and more fights, because I've only seen like 1 or 2 fights of his. L-Dog says, I don't think Devin Haney will live up to the expectations. That's fair enough. I'll be honest with you. Look, I've been following Devin Haney for longer than most people on in the boxing world. I've been following Devin Haney since 2014. when I first heard about him. Because I first heard about Devin Haney in 2014. He was getting a lot of hype on social media in the boxing world because this was way back when Devin Haney started his whole vlog series, The Real Devin Haney TV. I used to watch that shit all the time, and I really enjoyed it. I actually thought it was a great vlog series. Whoever's his videographer did a great job. And I remember I used to watch these vlog episodes of Devin Haney, and I used to just hear him like talk. I used to see him. There's this one part of the Devin Haney vlog where it was his birthday, right? And he's like, I think it was like his 17th or 16th birthday or something. He was super young when this happened. And this guy gets a whole room rented out at the Palms. Now, for those of you that don't know, the Palms is in a very expensive hotel. This guy had a whole room at the top floor of the Palms rented out for him. We got like fucking beautiful women everywhere. It's crazy. It's craziness. It was absolute insanity. And I'm thinking to myself, how the hell is this guy gonna stay focused when he's got all these hot dime pieces everywhere, and he's getting all this like luxury stuff so early in his career? How is he gonna focus? How is he gonna live up to expectations? What's gonna happen when he gets punched in the mouth? If he's already gotten all this before he's done anything in boxing, what's gonna happen when somebody punches him squarely in his mouth and they fight back? These are legitimate questions I have. I've always had these questions about Devin Haney, and I still have them. So I'm still waiting for my answer. We'll see what happens. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, do you think Ryan Garcia is the next Amir Khan? Next Amir Khan? No, I wouldn't say he's the next Amir Khan. He might be like more so like the next. I don't even want to say he's going to be as good as this guy, but he might be more like the next Fernando Vargas. I don't know. I can see Amir Khan. Why not? I don't really like. I'm not high on Ryan Garcia. Like the irony is this, and it pisses me off how boxing is sometimes. Like it's not just in America but in the UK, but like the guys that should get the hype, that are the best fighters from the country, don't get the hype, and then the ones that do get the hype aren't the best fighters. Like, truthfully speaking, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia are not the best fighters for America. And if you want me to keep it 100 with you, I think if Shakur Stevenson fought both of them, he beat the shit out of both of them. Both of them. Easy money. I would bet my life savings on it. All of it. But, Devin Haney's marketed himself on social media, and Ryan Garcia is Oscar de la Hoya ripoff. So, he's got a lot of social media followers. LA12 says, I like Diego Pacheco, Madrimov, and Emma Williams. Not sure Nikita, though. He's wild in the ring. Yeah, you named most of those the zone prospects. Now, I'll tell you this. Out of all those guys you just named, I'll tell you who I like the most out of those. I like Diego Pacheco. That's my guy right there. I love me some Diego Pacheco. I like how he carries himself. I like how he approaches the sport of boxing. Now, Diego Pacheco, he's really about that smoke. I mean, he doesn't go out there, and he's not no Instagram champion like Devin Haney or these other guys. The dude comes from South Central LA, the gutter, the slums, the trenches, from nothing, man. We talk about water and cornflakes. But no, Diego Pacheco comes from a really rough background. He's very soft spoken, but he's like a silent killer. I think once he masters the art of fighting tall in the professional ranks, fighting tall and punching these dudes to hurt them, once he masters that and continues to add tools along with the foundation he got in the amateurs, he's gonna be something special. I mean, like a great fighter, not a good fighter, a great fighter. And he's really the only fighter of the matchroom boxing fighters that the American fighters that Eddie Hearn has signed. He's the only one that I feel that way about. I like Arthur Jones III. I think he's got potential. I think Emma Williams has got good potential, but he's still got a lot of work to do. I think Raymond Ford's got good potential, but I'm not sure if his amateur style is going to transition all the way to the pros as of yet. I like Alexis Espino, but if you ask me who out of all these young prospects, Eddie Hearn aside, who is the one that I like the most, and who is the one that I think has the chance to go the furthest in boxing and put together the best career, I think it's Diego Pacheco. I'm gonna say Diego Pacheco. Fantastic young talent. For those of you that don't know about Diego Pacheco, let me put y'all on game about Diego Pacheco. Okay, Diego Pacheco was an amateur in America. He was the #1 amateur for the U.S. and Mexico simultaneously because he has dual citizenship. So I guess he was able to get in both amateur rankings. He was the #1 amateur in the American amateur ranks, and he was the #1 amateur in the Mexican national ranks. Okay, every promoter in boxing wanted to sign Diego Pacheco. Every promoter in boxing wanted to sign him. Top Rank wanted to sign him. PBC wanted to sign him. DAZN wanted to sign him. Everyone wanted to sign Diego Pacheco. When Eddie Hearn landed Diego Pacheco, that was one of the first great young American talents he got, and it was it was a great get for him too because there were so many other power brokers in boxing after him, and he's got so much room to grow. So I'm really huge on Diego Pacheco. I like him a lot. You know, I had a chance to meet him for myself when I went to Dallas for the Roman Gonzalez Calia 5 fight. He fought on the undercard. And we talked quite a lot, and I got a good feeling for him. You know, I've talked to a lot of fighters over the years, and you know, I think I'm a good judge of character, and I would definitely say that he's got good character. I like Pacheco. I think he's going places. Let's see, my main man G Boogie. He said. With the super sticker, I appreciated G Lee with the $5 super chat. You know, shout out to everybody who's supporting the channel, helping True School Sports continue to thrive and succeed here in 2020. It's much appreciated. Shout out to G Boogie. L Dog says Devin Haney grew up rich. Absolutely, Devin Haney grew up more privileged than me. I mean, I wasn't really privileged myself at all, but yeah, he was rich, a rich boy. This dude was driving foreign cars when he was like 16. I ain't touched a foreign car yet. L-Dog's put me on game. I'm going to have to check this dude out. He says, keep an eye out for Troy Isley. He's a legit American prospect who should turn pro soon. All right, I'll look him up soon. I like learning about the new prospects. It's always fun to learn about the new guys. Virgil Ortiz is definitely the future. You know, I'm looking forward to a big super fight one day with him and Jerron Ennis. I think Jerron Ennis is going to beat him when they fight. That's an unpopular opinion, though. Yeah, it's your boy BT. It's May 4th, 2020, 8:06 p.m. Make sure y'all smash that like button if you haven't done so already. Yeah, it's interesting time in the world, man. Not much going on in boxing. I'll give you, I'll give you guys a heads up as to some future lives you can expect. There's a couple of lives that I'm planning on doing within the next couple of days, so you guys can be alert for them. One live I'm going to do really soon is I'm going to literally go through the entire career of Arturo Gatti in one day. We're going to go through not the entire career, but I'm going to go watch the key fights, like the big fights that I've never watched about Arturo Gatti, like some of the big ones, the Ivan Robinson fights and all these fights that won Fight of the Year. We'll watch the Gotti Ward trilogy. We'll even watch Mayweather Gotti too, just for the hell of it. We'll watch all the fights in his career, and we're gonna do a classic fight reaction to Arturo Gatti for a whole day until we get through it all. And then after that, and then another live I'm planning on doing soon is a whole thing about boxers and messy relationships and their wives, because I don't know, I just find it interesting how all these fighters, like legit, you could name almost any fighter in boxing, and they've all had some sort of ridiculous marital problems. Like even like I was just reading today, I was reading today that Roman Gonzalez, his ex-wife in 2009, apparently Roman Gonzalez's ex-wife in 2009, she accused Chocolatito of beating her up, and she sued him for domestic violence and defamation of character because I guess he said that she wasn't being faithful to him or something like that. So it was like I was like, damn, like not even Chocolatito is safe, not even the real TBE is safe, not even the real TBE. Roman Gonzalez, one of the nicest, most humble people in boxing, is immune to the fuckery that comes with marriage and relationships. So I was writing it down today. I got to do a whole, I got to do a bunch of research before I go live about it because I want to have all my thoughts well organized when I go live for it. But like, you had Mike Tyson, Robin Gibbons, you had Shane Mosley and his girl Jen Mosley, which was the worst one out of all of them. I mean, that girl was brutal. She told Shane Mosley to get a vasectomy after they got divorced. Who does that? How you divorce somebody and then you tell them motherfucker to get a vasectomy? How do you do that? So that was two. And then you had Joe Calzaghe and Mandy Davies, and I think her name was. You had Muhammad Ali and Khalila Ali. You had Holyfield and his like 5 wives. You had Floyd and Josie Harris. You had freaking Roman Gonzalez and his wife. Yeah, George Foreman, who had like 5 wives, and just insanity. So I thought that'd be an interesting video because there's nothing to talk about. So we might as well just go through the history of boxers and these messy relationships. F it. Why not? Do something new. L Dog says you should keep an eye out for a guy called Alexander Kusniak, 27-8 IBA World Championship gold medalist and number 1 seed for the 20. Oh shit, the number 1 seed, huh? Guy sounds like the truth. I mean, I can tell by his name he's probably Eastern European. So, if he's Eastern European, L Dog, you know what that means? It means he's straight up and down, no special effects. It means he's got no footwork. He's stiff. All he knows is a jab and a 1-2. Nah, I'm joking. That's what the LDBC would say though. But listen, I'll definitely check him out. By the way, Eldog, I gotta get you on Discord because I have Discord, but I recently got Discord. I gotta get you on Discord. Chris Crawley says Gotti versus Ward is the most epic fight I've ever is epic fight, the best I've seen. Yeah, it's up there. What? Hold up. Don't play my emotions. L-Dog. You mean to tell me that this guy, Alexander, I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, Alexander Kusniak, he fights like a big Chocolatito? I'm going to have to check this dude out. I'm going to have to check this motherfucker out. He sounds like he's a man. He sounds like he's the truth. Anybody who can fight like that deserves my attention. Anybody who's anything like Chocolatito Gonzalez deserves my attention. Straight up. See, we got Smarty Jones says Gotti Robinson was better than Gotti Ward. Perhaps it was. Gotti Robinson. I had never, and that's the main reason I want to do this. I never watched Gotti Robinson 1. There's a lot of fights I never watched of Gotti's that I know are great fights that I've heard about through the years or heard about through the grapevine. So I figure we're going to take a whole day. I'm going to go live. We're going to do a classic fight reaction, Arturo Gotti's big fights, even the ones I've seen. So should be a fun video. I'm not sure when that's going to be, but believe me, whenever it does happen, it's going to be like at least a 5 or 6 hour live. It's going to be lit. It's going to be lit, super lit. Oh, Smarty Jones says Ricky had signed up an Irish prospect that beat up Nikita Abibi in the amateurs. That's funny. Oh, man. I hate that I'm about to say this, but look. My man, new boxing fan says, True School Sports, who do you got in history debate? Unrivaled the boxing librarian. I'll be honest with you, man. I haven't even watched boxing librarian like at all. So it wouldn't be fair to me to say who's gonna who would win a debate, because I'm not really too familiar with Boxing Librarian. Because look, there's so many damn channels here on YouTube, and like there's maybe like 4 or 5 that I watch consistently, and then there's like 2 or 3 that I watch sporadically, and then everybody else I just watch once in a while. I've never watched Boxing Librarian, and mind you, I'm always creating my own content, so I can't say. I really can't. SSB28 says, "Are you going to do a film study?" I haven't done like a legit proper like film study in a while, so maybe soon. The thing with film studies is though is like people like I really have a lot of respect for like these channels that just do film studies for every fighter, because I can't do that. The only time I can do film studies is if it's for a fighter or a fight that I'm really passionate about or that I like. If I don't like the fighter, or if I'm not like extremely a big fan of the fighter, then I don't have the patience to sit there and do film studies. So like it's gonna have to be a fighter that I like. So maybe like Riddick Bowe again, Riddick Bowe, or Romo Gonzalez, or Pacquiao, or maybe Josh Taylor, something like that. That's another one. The Gotti Ruzelis. That's another one I never watched. There's so many of his freaking fights I never watched, and I feel bad that I never watched such an exciting fighter's best fights. But I want to correct that while we're on quarantine. There's so many freaking fighters and fights. You can't watch everybody. This man, yo, my man SSB28 is speaking the truth. He says, "I feel like there's a new channel every week." You damn right there is, man. That's why, like, I can't keep up with it all. Like, I have my 5 or 6 channels. I have my post notifications on for. Like I'll tell you what they are. I watch a lot of Unrivaled Boxing Talking News. Mark's been my rotation. He gets into my rotation like over the last few months. Johnny Boy, Official Scorecard Boxing. What's his name? Montero on Boxing. I've been watching a lot more recently. Mr. Boxing Today, I watch a lot. Well, who else is there? BDA. I've been watching more BDA than usual. A lot of my favorite channels. Like the funny thing is, a lot of the OG channels from when I first started out here on YouTube aren't even active anymore. There is no Precise Presenter anymore. He's too busy making videos about vegan and plants. Thunderdome is not really active anymore, so it is what it is. Unrivaled Boxing Talking News. My main man, Mark. You came in towards the end, Mark. I'm about to get off soon, but shout out to you, Mark. How you doing? Frank Sanchez. Frank Sanchez wants to fight Michael Hunter or Junior Fa to move up in the rankings. Thoughts on the outcome if he fights them? He would beat the dog shit of Junior Fa. Junior Fa is basura. But Michael Hunter, I think, would be a good test. I think Michael Hunter would actually beat him. Because Frank Sanchez is I would say Frank Sanchez is the better school boxer. But Michael Hunter, I think that's a fight. Michael Hunter actually has an advantage in power. I think he would get his respect and eventually break him down. But who knows, man? Make the fights. There's only one way. There's only one way to find out. SSB says BT ain't doing no Robert Easter Jr. versus Robert Ransom Bartholomew film study. Fuck no, I'm not doing that. You got me messed up all the way if you think I'll ever do that. Like, again, and the funny thing is, I'm cool with Rances. Rances follows me on Instagram. I interviewed Rances on here a couple of times many years ago, like 3-4 years ago. So I like Rances, but I'm not doing no damn film study on fights like that. Like, I respect film study channels because it takes a lot of time to do what they do for every fight. And like, I'll be honest with you, there's just certain fights or fighters I don't care enough about to do a film study about. But then you get these guys out here that do film studies for like, I don't know, what's a fight that's like weird? Bryant Jennings versus Joe Joyce. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad one to do. But like they get to do like these weird fights, like random fights. Mark says, "I'm good, bro." That's good to hear. By the way, good video with what's his name? Blue Collar Sports. I was listening to last night. AM says, "Do you watch MMA?" Hell no. I can't. Like, no disrespect to MMA, I just don't like it. I can't watch it, man. I tried watching it. I gave it an honest try for like 30 minutes in 2017. I can't do it. I can't. It's just not as good as boxing. I'm sorry. It's not as good as boxing. It's a different sport. I respect that they're combat, sports athletes, and they put their lives on the line. They put their bodies on the line. They do what they do, but it's not for me. It's not my cup of tea. But if you like MMA, hey, God bless you. It's not for me. GMB says, vegan, you cannot knock people out. You cannot knock people out being a vegan. Oh my God, I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it, because who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody. I was talking to. I have a friend from high school. He doesn't know boxing. He knows fuck all about boxing. He doesn't know shit about boxing, but he knows that I have a boxing channel, and I know a little bit about boxing. So then he says, BT, because he's a vegan. He's like hardcore vegan. He's like, BT, have you seen this film, Game Changers? And then there's this film called Game Changers, and it's about all these important, influential people that were vegans, right? Athletes and stuff, right? So one of the guys in the movie is Brian Jennings. Brian Jennings is in the Game Changers movie, and he's like, yeah, there's this guy, Brian Jennings. He's a heavyweight boxing champion. I'm like, dude, first of all, calm down. He's not anywhere close to a boxing heavyweight champion. He challenged for it once, but he didn't win. He lost pretty sound. So I had to explain to him, Brian Jennings is not the highest in the pecking order amongst heavyweight fighters, but I guess the movie made it seem that way to him. So he's like, yeah, this guy, Brian Jennings, he's one of the best heavyweights in the world, and he's a vegan. So what does that tell you? I'm like, first of all, he's not one of the best heavyweights in the world. So you've been misinformed. And if Brian Jennings actually ate some damn meat, he might actually knock one of these fools out. I was watching that damn Joyce fight, thinking to myself, you know what? If he had just ate some pork chops or some shit, maybe he would have actually hurt Joyce. But hey, it's his lifestyle choice. So hey, if it's good for him, it's good for him. It's not for me. I like chicken and I like pork chops, and then I like all that stuff. I like my veggies too. But I can't do the whole vegan thing. But I respect anybody who does. But with that being said, guys, I think on that note, I'm gonna wrap it up. We've just touched 2 hours here on True School Sports. So if you came into the live, it's been much appreciated. I really appreciate it. Check out all the videos that have dropped on the channel coming out soon. Be on the lookout for the videos with Pops coming out soon. There's 2 videos that I shot with my dad yesterday that are scheduled to come out within the next couple of days with Pops. So be on the lookout for those. I'm very sure you're gonna like the one about Mike Tyson. That one's pretty hilarious. But I'm gonna leave it at that. You guys have a great day. I have to go on some errands and be semi-responsible. With that being said, y'all have a blessed day. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.